like what you know what happened. Love.
Love. Let's think of Lauryn Hill. Her only album, right? The Miseducation. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah.
Of course you do. You know those little skits in between the songs, and somebody is writing L-O-V. I remember listening to it as a young kid, like, oh my god, love, love, love. And then Lauryn Hill never gave us another album.
Yeah.
Love, love, love.
Yeah. It's a really, love is a really complicated matter in my life right now, I would say.
Okay. No, not like what's happening, like in general. What you think about love?
Yeah, but like also in terms of therefore like what I learned about it. I would say as being aware of your layered identity and as
layered identity. I love that. Being aware of your. Oh, where's my notepad?
Sorry?
Where's my.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, this is Sunny Jamil, of course, and welcome to another fabulous episode of the SJ Show, coming to you from Amsterdam, of course. And I'm with a lovely special lady, a journalist. Her name is Gina Lafour, and she interviewed me last year. And this time around, I'm flipping the table. I'm going to interview her. So she is, well, her family and herself, of course, are being featured in a lovely documentary. It's called Ga Terug and Haal Het. I hope my Dutch is good enough, but I think I got it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty perfect.
In English, it means go back and get it. So it follows a lot of people with Dutch black ancestry from Suriname and Curaçao. And Gina, you're one of them. Welcome to the SJ Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, it feels like we met like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, and at the same time, like yesterday.
I know. How have you been?
Good. Yeah.
Nice.
I would say lots of ups and downs, lots of changes for sure.
Arc of life.
Yeah, but definitely ever since we met till now, yeah, more changes and ups and downs than other years or times of my life.
I see.
Yeah, but therefore, yeah, by now pretty exciting actually. Like I'm looking forward to what's coming next.
I love it. Well, we're gonna dive deep into that. So I like to ask people their background, their ancestry. Where are your roots? Obviously, you're born here in the Netherlands.
Yes.
All right. Like I know your dad is an activist as well. I'm an activist, so I love a nice activism story. Tell me about that. What was it like growing up with a dad who's an activist?
Oh, that's really interesting that you asked me that because, as you can see in the movie as well, I didn't know about that for most of my life.
Oh.
Or was that not clear in the movie for you?
Maybe
That's
I missed that part.
Oh yeah.
No, because of the language.
Yeah. No, I didn't know. So the interesting thing about that is that he or like us as a family, we did talk a lot about like what's happening in the world, about politics and all these things. I do remember, for example, at birthday parties, like looking around here in the space, Gaza, I see all the signs.
Yeah. Intifada until apartheid falls.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the whole thing. Like, if we would name Israel near my dad, he automatically would talk about, we must free Palestine. So in that sense, like, in hindsight, maybe it was more clear that he was an activist than I realized, like, being his daughter growing up.
Yes.
Because, like, I knew all that. I knew, like, the conversations we had. But at the same time, I never knew, like, for example, that he even attended demonstrations or organized himself or all these things, or that he was part of any groups. So I only found out about that bit during a movie, actually. So it was not this documentary, but another one by Wendelin van Oldenburg. And, like, her storyline was in a way similar to, like, the content of this documentary. Because it was also talking about intergenerational activism in some ways. Like, she was just trying to bring different types of people together from different generations. And then it was about ownership of space. So it was talking about squatting movements, and specifically, like, about Lawson, like a black squatting movement, you could say, back in the days. And the student demonstrations in the Maagdenhuis, also, like, it was a university building, and they squatted that building to demand change from the university in different ways, like decolonizing the university and other changes. And then they asked me and my father, but as the movie goes, we just, like, the documentary maker asked us to just come together. So she would say, like, you and you come together in that space, walk towards each other, and talk about this topic. But I didn't know everybody in the movie, and also sometimes it would be the first time to meet, right? So, like, there's a little bit in the movie in which, like, there's an activist, like, a bit younger than my father, I would say, but, like, more or less his generation, my father and me. So, like, we come from different directions, and then we come together, and then they greet each other in a way, like, as if they're really good old friends. And I was like, Dad, like, who is this person? And then I was like, Miss, how do you know each other? And, like, in that moment, she was like, oh, but honey, didn't you know, like, your father used to be, like, an activist and all these things. And, like, she was talking about a moment that the police arrested him. And I was like, what?
You?
My father. And it was funny because I was already active in that moment. And, like, at home, I actually felt a lot of resistance from my parents in some ways. Like, when I was speaking out. So I was, like, a bit shocked by it.
Right,
I was like,
wait a minute.
You who always tell me, to dim down or, like, to nuance certain things that I'm saying or whatever. You were, arrested by the police at this demonstration. So, like, that was the first time for me to realize this. Wow. And then only, like, when Angela Davis came to Amsterdam, like, also when I was in uni, I guess. Like, years ago.
Years ago, right? I think I've seen photos.
Yeah, she was in the VU.
The university,
And then we as activists here, we're still using Facebook as our, like, primary medium. And we're discussing things and, like, posting things. And then I remember Mitchell randomly posted a picture of, like, a document from the archives. Saying that my father...
Black archives, by the way.
Oh, yeah. That my father was part of a group of Black Panther Party affiliates here in the Netherlands. And I was like, what? Well,
in black and white.
Yeah, black and white. His name was in there. I was like,
wait a minute.
Like, I'm going to Angela Davis. Like, why is my, So...
you didn't ask him, like, get up, where we're going.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Okay.
I think it was too late. I think it was completely sold out and all these things. Yeah.
But what was his reaction like to you saying, hey, what's happening? This is you. I just saw a photo of you. Here's some history. Black Panthers. You've never seen anything.
Yeah, his reaction was like, "What? How do you not know?"
Wait, how do you know?
Not know. Yeah, I was like, "Didn't I tell you?" And I was like, "No, you didn't."
Yeah.
You know, so like,
My God.
that was it. Yeah,
I see.
like there was we had like conversations about society and about politics in that way, but it was never clear to me like that he had done these things before, and also like it was not like as if we were strategizing at home.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah.
So in that way, that was it, I guess.
Wow, that's fascinating. That's
Yeah.
absolutely interesting. So,
Yeah.
you studied at the VU as well? Or?
No, at the UFA.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. What did you study?
Interdisciplinary social sciences.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. But then you ended up becoming a journalist at some point.
Well, like I wouldn't say I became a journalist. I think during my uni years, I was part of a collective, Amsterdam United, who's trying to make the university more inclusive.
Okay.
And I think when I joined that group, and also due to some other things I was doing then already, like social organizations that I was part of, like I started creating some awareness in that made me the activist that I am today. And I guess in doing that, like when I finished my how to say, so when I was studying, I was always doing some things on the side, like helping people organize like a little bit, or going to demonstrations sometimes.
Okay.
And at some point I got became part of the collective Vote for a Woman, Stem op een Vrouw. So there was different things in there, but it wasn't as if that was my main thing ever.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was studying, and that was a huge thing for me. Like it was quite a hustle. And then when I graduated, I was just trying to see like what it would be for me. Okay. And then I did a masterclass in interdisciplinary journalism. I wanted to say, but that's not right. Investigative journalism. And then that was my main thing. But actually, I was teaching at the same time, and then actually the organization that I was teaching in, they asked me to promote, basically to become a coordinator at that school. So like journalism isn't my primal thing anymore. Yeah.
I see. But did you enjoy that time?
Yeah,
Because I've read a few articles that you wrote in the Green Amsterdam, the Groen.
The Groene Amsterdammer. Yeah, I did enjoy it, but I was in a similar way to the university. It was quite tough for me. The environment in a way, because it's like, how to say, like my experience there was a bit similar to like a university atmosphere, in the sense of trying to fit you in a mold, and it felt really, really tight. So I did I'm really grateful for that experience, and I learned a lot, but I don't think that was my thing per se. But like there's more types of journalism, obviously, in different spaces, so it's not like I didn't exclude it yet. Maybe I'll come back to it, but
And that was pre-Black Lives Matter, June 20.
No, not even. I think.
Yeah, that's right.
No, that was after.
Oh, it was after.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's go back to that.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter. The horrible incident of George Floyd, and then this giant protests in Amsterdam. Where you? I was living in Limburg at the time, so I wasn't up here. I didn't participate, but I did watch online, and to me, it seemed normal. Like, oh, okay, it's just it's a regular protest. Thousands of people are in the damn square, and then when I now read the newspapers, everybody's shocked. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. It was really interesting because as I said, I attended many different types of protests throughout the years.
Yeah. Pretty smaller.
Way smaller.
Way smaller.
Way
Oh
smaller.
gosh.
Yeah.
I swear, I thought that was normal.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Wow.
Not at all. And it also, I think, wasn't normal for the reason we came together. Like sometimes, like you have the women's march, or you have a climate march, or that attract.
Wait, you've been in the women's march as well?
Yeah.
I never saw you.
Well, now you know.
Small world.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know you at that time. Yeah, probably.
No.
Or maybe we did come across each other and it was more of a, this, because you meet so many people.
Yeah, and also I wasn't always there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I went sometimes, but I wasn't there like.
Oh, okay. I would volunteer, just helping
yeah.
about, just to get away from the south.
Yeah, I get it. I think Women's March is like so big that normally I would attend it, but like not all the time.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, so like these type of demonstrations were always bigger.
Yeah.
But like anti-racist demonstrations often like smaller, and it also depends on like if it's about refugee lives, or if it's about something happening here, or if it's about a racist incident happening in the States, or like that really would change the dynamic and the amount of people that would come there.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So were you actually there that day as well?
Yeah.
Oh, how was it, the mood like for you?
Yeah. So I would say that Black Lives Matter is like the whole uprising has been for me the most impactful like how to say time for my activism.
Wow.
Because I was just like I couldn't sleep, and I was just like day and night sort of absorbing the news and organizing or like trying to activate people to care about this. And connecting with different types of people in US and here and wherever. Actually, also like with people from all over the world. I remember like there were a lot of people I knew in the like in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, not too much, but like in different places in the world, and we would call or we would chat, and like there was a lot of how to say communal care in that way, and so like I was deep in it.
Oh, that's nice.
And but in like in an emotional and spiritual and mental way in that sense. And then when it comes to like practically what did I do? I tried like to organize with different people, but it was lots of how to say talking about how to organize, but it was because there was so much happening, and you're just trying to connect to the right people in the right way and just add to something or
in
like
a short time.
Yeah, exactly. But then there were already some structures, so people would already organize things. So in the end, like I actually at some point was part of like app group of people all over the Netherlands. Like it was a relatively smaller app group of people, like sort of a core group of people who were trying to organize. But like there was just like I was just in it to try to help, but in the end it was more like discussing how to do what, or like thinking along. And then at the Dom itself, Mitchell from the Black Archives, I remember, asked me to live stream the whole thing. So I was standing right there, like at the front of the stage. And yeah, so
That's incredible.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what we watched.
yeah, that's
Who knew you were the one behind it?
yeah, yeah,
Power to you.
yeah.
So tell me, so your dad has ancestry in Curaçao's?
No, in Suriname.
Or in Suriname?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, so you have Surinamese heritage.
Yeah,
Ah, okay, you've ever been there?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, really? How was it like for you being a Dutch person? I don't know how Dutch you become because I've heard people say, oh, you'll never be quite Dutch enough. Da, 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 da. Do you feel Dutch?
Interesting question, because there was somebody just yesterday, I believe, who asked me that question.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, normally I would answer it saying that I'm from Amsterdam,
Okay.
and not per se that I'm from the Netherlands or that I'm
Okay.
Dutch.
Okay.
When people ask me where I'm from or what I am or
Yeah.
whatever, I normally answer saying that I'm Surinamese Dutch from my dad's side and Indonesian Chinese from my mom's side, which is what it is.
Wow.
I was born in Haarlem, and we moved when I was like 3 or something to Amsterdam, and that's where I was raised.
Pretty much.
That's it.
Oh.
But like my Dutchness, yeah.
Give it to me. I wanna be Dutch. I wanna be Dutch. Give me the Dutchness.
Yeah, like there's a big part of me that is, right?
Okay.
Like my grandmother, she is a white Dutch woman.
From your dad's side.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, he's half Dutch, half Surinamese.
When did he come to the Netherlands?
He was born here.
He was also born here.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, he was born here.
I see. All
Yeah.
right. Pretty Dutch enough.
Yeah, in that sense, like, it's part of my DNA, and part of, like, I grew up also in a really white Dutch neighborhood. So in that sense, like, I got much of the culture, but at the same time, actually today I was having an interesting conversation about like love.
Oh.
About friendship, about romantic relationships, and about feeling at home. And I, like, when it comes to that, I do feel that it's harder for me to feel like completely at peace and at home.
Okay.
With white Dutch people in that sense. Like,
Okay.
my best friend is white, so in that, like,
Okay.
I definitely can make it work, but like, yeah, I grew up with Indonesian food, and like, so it's like, and I think my social life is so,
Pretty mixed.
yeah, like with the World Cup now,
Yeah.
like I'm like completely immersed with Moroccan friends and
Yeah.
people like watching these things and connecting to that, or I'm going to Amapiano parties or
Come on now.
yes, South Africa.
Hey, I want to.
So like all these bits of the people I care about and hang out with, and that make also part of who I am in the end. Yeah, that is not really compatible with the status quo Dutchness,
The
right?
wider, I suppose maybe it comes with Amsterdam. I didn't realize how international. Not even Amsterdam, Netherlands in general. It's incredibly international. I've never lived in such an international.
You're kidding me.
I'm telling you. And I would say 1 in 4, maybe 4 is too low. Maybe 1 in 2 or 3 people that you come across, they have some kind of migration background. It just blows my mind.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that, like, for me and for lots of people around me, growing up here, it's inevitable that that's your social circle. That is really, really mixed, right? But like, there's a lot of people who succeed in staying exactly in their own bubble, and it's not only for the white Dutch people. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, funny you bring that up. I lived in the southeast, the southwest for a few months, and I would never come up here, like never.
Yeah.
And then I understood, like, oh, it's just, it's funny. Amsterdam is kind of segregated.
Yeah, but it's strange for such a tiny
And it's so
capital,
small. Yeah,
right?
and it's
It's
pretty
like-
small. Yeah.
I realized this when it was like in high school, like
Oh, which area did you grow up in Amsterdam?
in the south.
Oh, in the south.
Yeah. So
And
like
you went to school in the south as well.
yeah, primary school, high school, all
Oh,
there.
pretty much. Okay.
So then I knew, and like which is interesting is that like even though I went to really white schools, in some way
Yeah.
subconsciously my friends were like from all over the place, and that's like quite something because
some
like you
spice.
really have to pick them all up because there's not many people
Yeah.
of color at all in the
Or there were not that many.
no.
Uh,
It's like it was a really really white school where I
I
went to
see.
like both primary school and secondary school.
I see.
But then also a lot of these people would live in other neighborhoods than my own. And I was really aware of like the fact that it's really a high, rich
I see.
and white neighborhood. That was if friends of mine would walk around, the guys, they would always point at like the specific cars in the neighborhood or all
Oh
these
my
things. So I
gosh.
knew
I
I was
see.
really aware of the bubble that
that
I grew up in, and I knew I needed to get out.
Oh really?
Yeah.
At which age was it that apparent?
18, I think.
Oh.
Something like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh wow. And what were your friends from other areas like? Like, oh, they were not like you fancy or?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh.
Like them, like my friends from high school, like for them to go to also like a rich white school, they knew about that culture in a way, but at the same time they were like often when they went to my place, my house was like around the corner from these schools. Often
You didn't have a commute. to
no,
school.
not at all. Like I could run to school.
And
We
then
walked
they
or-
would have to travel a bit
Yeah.
of distance.
Yeah, so they would often come to my place because it's so
yeah.
convenient.
It's just close by,
right?
yeah.
But I often get remarks also about the house that we live in, and also my parents are architects, so it's like they made it extra nice, and they're often impressed in that way, and I was really conscious of the fact like
And you'd obviously never thought of it as being different for some people, to put it mildly.
different. How do you
For them, like for you it was normal, but then when they point these things out, it's like, oh.
No, I knew.
Oh, okay.
Like it was normal to some degree, but like my father grew up in the west of Amsterdam, and also then like working class neighborhood, or like also then really gentrified by now. But yeah, they didn't grow up with a lot of money at all. Like it was like a big Orthodox Catholic family.
Wow.
So 10 siblings and a relatively small house and like
Wow, I'm surprised 10 siblings for a Western country in those times.
well, my dad did
Boomers.
turn 80 just so that's boomer.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
But
sorry, Dad,
that's alright.
but we have to throw the B word around. Boomer.
Yeah, that's fine. No, but
Oh, wow,
but
wow.
yeah.
I would have never imagined that in the Netherlands, for his generation, that he could come from a family that big, because even on my side, in my both actually, my dad and mom's side, I think it's 6 each, like 6 on each side. And it's to me, we always grew up laughing at them, like, how was that even possible?
Possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know people think in Africa there's a giant birth rate. No.
Mm.
That's not even true.
Yeah, like we don't really joke about it because like my father looks at it and as a really sad fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like his mom wasn't really happy about that.
No,
you
I
know?
can imagine. I've been reading some people say that as well, that it's challenging.
Yeah, it is. Like even like to give birth to.
Yeah, like the actual physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The labor.
The
Yeah.
labor, yeah.
So in that sense. And my mom, she came from a wealthy family, but then they moved from Indonesia. So they traveled to different countries, and then in the end came here. But then in that journey, they also had to work difficult jobs to get around.
Oh yeah.
So like both my parents made a conscious effort to really make us aware about the privileges we have.
Ah, that's perfect.
Growing up in the Netherlands, growing up in the south of Amsterdam, in the house we had, and all these things. So like I knew, but then also it's comfortable. So it's not as if you always will actively think about it.
It didn't feel strange to like, wow, like, could you relate to their life story, or it was just something you hear and it will just pass for you?
Yeah, I think I could relate to some degree. Like, you know, it's you can never relate in such a way
like
that, you know.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I think I thought about it a lot. Like, or a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, with time more and more maybe. Like now, it's pretty much ingrained now. You know.
Yeah, especially in this climate that we're in, it's now more apparent that migration issues are, they're real.
Yeah, but like to give an example, and this is a quite personal one, but whatever. I spoke with my therapist not too long ago, and she asked me like, "What about medication?" And the medication she suggested is rather more expensive than other types of medication for what we wanted to achieve. And then my response, and this is not the first time I've been thinking about it. This is like something that's been suggested to me like 8 years ago, like 6 years ago. But then the thing is, to me, that being a luxury product for the fact that it's expensive and not obtainable for everybody, and also the fact that the idea of therapy at all for my father.
I was gonna go there.
It's like it's bizarre.
Like, hold up.
So like there's a real threshold for me to say like, okay, I'll go with it, because I told her right away, it's like, listen, it feels like such a luxury that like I don't know why we go for that. But then at the same time, like, if it helps, it helps. But so
speaking of, one of the reasons why I started this podcast is because I've also had my own mental health situations, and I feel like we are just not doing well as people, and we're not talking enough about therapy. So what would you say to somebody that's thinking of therapy but is maybe afraid? I don't know, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, like I don't think, because I've spoken to a lot of people about this ever since.
And thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, no, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I think I spoke about that topic with a lot of people. I've had therapy since I was a teenager.
Okay.
Like on and off, like some time.
Yeah.
And there's many people around me that I've seen struggling mentally, and to me, like there was a real threshold to start with therapy when I was a teenager. I was like, I remember my mom telling me, which is quite something for her, because like also for her, like therapy didn't come naturally at all.
I can imagine.
But she heard about it from some friends, and she was like, maybe that will help. And I remember me screaming at her in tears and whatever. I said, "Hey, Mom, I'm not bad. What are you thinking? You know, I'm not crazy."
Yeah,
you know, all these.
Yeah, the stereotypes.
Yeah, and like it really hurt me then. But I afterwards benefited from it so much, like, and still am today. So like always when I talk with people that I see struggling in that way, I'll say, do it. Like I suggest therapists to people, and I like sometimes I'll bring it up myself. You know, I'll be like, hey, not to offend you or something, but maybe this could be helpful. And I just see it as how to say, for a lot of people I feel it's they feel weak.
Hot tea?
Oh yes, please. They feel weak the moment they think about it, you know, they're like, oh, I should be able to do this myself.
Okay, let's get that clear. You cannot do it by yourself. You know, I always tell people that you cannot heal alone.
No.
It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It
No.
just doesn't. It really doesn't. And I recently, because it's been bothering me so much, I've always been reading that there's a lot of mental health challenges, personality disorder, particularly with black men. I don't know whether it's Amsterdam or it's the whole of Netherlands, but with all the crime activities, it appears from what I read, it appears that most people who fall into crime had childhood traumas and personality in terms of that development, which obviously led them down that path. And so it's easy for the mainstream media to be judging people and saying, oh, look at the society, migrant societies, but there's a background to that.
Yeah, like interesting you bring that up. Like during my studies there was a class that I followed from somebody who gave criminology, and with a really how to say progressive perspective.
Yeah.
So like indeed, like there's lots of researchers that would say the same as you just said, and to me that was the most interesting theories that I read about it, because
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I do really believe that's part of it.
Yeah.
And also like there can be other factors, you know, of course, but this is a big part of it.
The base, it's by the time other things come in, the damage would have been.
Yeah, and I feel also like, you know, it's not just about stealing but it can also be about violence, physical, sexual, whatever. So
survival.
You know, so I feel that therapy in that sense is good for everybody.
If not mandatory.
For real, because honestly, like I feel for myself, you know, there's these memes that go viral saying like we try to heal ourselves, and for other people that didn't do that work, and we're doing it for them, you know. But I do feel that that's part of my journey in that sense, like that a lot of the things that go on in me do have to do with some people around me that didn't
hurt people.
Indeed. So also
power to you and your mom for at least recognizing.
Yeah, I'm really happy she recognized that and started with that, and I do think that there's almost not enough in the sense of like I've done therapy on and off, and then like at some moment, actually, like this year, as I said, like a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
But then, even though I knew, like, okay, I'm struggling at work or I'm struggling in other things, but I was like, oh, I think I'm fine, you know, I think I can do this. I know I won't fall in the same trap again and, like, overwork myself or all these things. But at the end,
overworking, that almost took me down. Like overworking. Just no.
yeah. Well, I did fall in the trap again, and then I did think like, oh, I could recognize it beforehand because I've been in the same position already, and I thought I could get out of it easily by myself, just over the summer, like going on a holiday. That would be it. But then, you know, I ended up going in therapy for something else, but she did help me in that moment.
Like to connect the dots.
Yeah, and it's bizarre because I was like, oh, you know, I've done years and years of therapy. I can do it by myself now. Yeah. But I knew, like, I realized afterwards I needed to do a checkup regularly. Yeah. You know, just like you go to your GP, that you need this because for some things you cannot by yourself.
You know, it's interesting you say that about a holiday. I was telling a friend exactly that yesterday. Just yesterday. He also has a migration background from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, but you can work hard and just go for holiday. I was like, no, we cannot do that.
Yeah. It will help, you know, but like
for that short time. I'm like, no, we or at least I was like, I can't. He's always going for holiday this Christmas. I'm like, okay, boo, do you? But I don't know. But then you are a teacher. Are you still teaching? Or?
Well, not now.
No, now, okay.
But
how was that experience like? Because I remember telling you that, oh, Gina, I love what you're doing. I wanna reach out to the kids. And I think you had a wonderful time because we used to talk about that a lot.
Yeah, well, I must say I've been on sick leave for quite some time now, but I miss them so much.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, and it's like there is some detachment now because I've been away for such a long time, and I really had to consciously not think about work and put that aside. Oh yeah. So also not think about them.
Yeah.
But by
even
now,
though it feels selfish.
Yeah, it does. It feels strange.
Yeah.
Also, like, you know, not only selfish, but like I think that we are community people, right?
Yep. A bit too much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and so it feels really unnatural to say like, oh, I'm my own individual, and by kids, I won't think about you. I'll step out of this thing while I feel part of. You know.
Oh, I never asked. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But then, how was it like? The ability to, I always say, catch them young. Did you feel like you were making an impact in the South-Oost?
Yeah.
You were.
Yeah, I do feel that was the case. It's like I don't know South-Oost well enough to say what type of impact on how to say, like I could see the impact on the kids.
On the
You know, I could see that.
Okay.
But to say like it will do this for the area, and also like, you know, the organizations and the structures is really complicated.
Yeah.
So I focusing on the kids, I could say that I did see like an impact, and a lot of it is thanks to them, because like they were eager enough to come in their weekends after, you know, a whole week of school and other things they're doing.
I was impressed by that. That I was like, I could have never. Wait, I'm lying. I used to go to weekend school.
You're so funny.
No, but that was for. It was more for computer lessons. This was in the early 2000s. Yeah, but it was weekend school because nobody else did it. I was the one of the few who were eager to say, I don't want to stand by the street corner.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to school, hang out and just fiddle the www dots, whatever it was, because we had fresh minds. We didn't even know what computers were, but I would go for that. So
Yeah.
I think it helps. People like you are needed. I if it wasn't for those teachers who also sacrificed their weekends to be there, I wouldn't be here. So yeah, you don't even know the impact. They will come to you and say, your weekend was not in vain. I promise that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for saying that, and I do feel that that's part of why I did it. But it's tricky, like also with my social scientific background.
Okay.
It's hard to say what impact it will have on them. There's
don't fall into it. Case study right here. Forget the one at the university. Case study right here.
Well, good to see you. But I do see a risk that I find important also to name.
Yeah.
Is that like what I see now happening with my students.
Okay.
And also actually already before, when in the West I used to work with kids almost in the same age group.
Okay.
Is that because they have a migrant background and because their neighborhoods, their schools, or themselves, or their communities or whatever are being stigmatized and seen as lesser than, there's an extra pressure on them to achieve, right? And in general already, the school system is really demanding. So
I've never seen anything like it.
Like in here?
Yeah.
Wow.
I am like, wow, that explains the trauma to kids.
Yeah.
Because I have, I call her my daughter or niece. In the African community, you can't just say that's a friend's child. It's your daughter, it's your niece. So obviously she's also from Africa, but was born probably here. It's hard.
It was already hard on me when I was like in high school.
Oh really?
So imagine the pressure now. Yeah. And like there were already some students who left the school because of this. Ooh. Because they had like next to us and school had like a specific homework class, a specific Quran class or whatever, language or like football or whatever things they had, and they just told me with their 10 or 11 years of age, Miss, I'm sorry, but I'm just too busy. And I was like, girl, go rest, go play. Of course you're too busy, and I would miss them, and you do want to give them those experiences, but at the same time, I'm really proud of them, and I tell them also that they're standing up for what they're feeling, and
I'm glad they
for their rest, because it's really, really important.
Demanding.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that's why you're the scientist. Thank you for bringing that up as well.
Yeah, like impact is hard to measure at all, but like on the long term, like if you think about these things, it's complicated.
Yeah.
But of course, we try to show them different types of role models in that sense to broaden their horizon of like what is possible. Yeah. What type of professions are out there, and they're all achievable for you. Yeah. That's a bit too easy to say maybe, but like you just try to bring that closer to make sure that not because of the lack of representation of kids or people like them in media or in their social circles with these types of professions that they're dreaming of, that you offer them those examples in the classroom or on an excursion or wherever we're going. So I did have a lot of moments that I saw my kids, as I would call them, with their mouths wide open and with their big eyes, saying like, "Oh my God, I didn't know this was a thing.
It's possible.
Yeah, but like for so many things, and it still gives me shivers thinking about it. Like those are the most precious moments, right?
Yeah.
And
That's true.
yeah, it happens for a lot of reasons, you know.
Yeah.
And
that's
just really precious.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Now, and a few lifestyle questions to us as we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Your first passport stamp. Where was the first country you traveled to?
Oh, damn, the first. I don't know, honestly.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay, or your favorite country you've been to and why?
Also a hard question. But like, one of the first countries I've been to definitely must have been Suriname. Because
ancestry.
Yeah, and my father in that time had projects running in Suriname, so they were traveling already for work there a lot. And then as we were really young, they would just take us and go there, or like take me actually, because my sister wasn't even born then.
Oh, okay.
So I have pictures of me as a toddler, like running around in the Dutch embassy of Suriname, which my father built. So like or designed. So that's something. Only the smell. Everybody says it, of course, but like the smell and the.
No, that makes perfect sense.
The air on your skin and I have really fond memories of only that, like the moment you step out of the airplane. And I have repeating dreams when I dream about like me in Suriname, like in a hammock, somewhere surrounded by like monkeys and the beautiful trees and all these things.
And some sunshine.
Sorry?
Sunshine.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so that's... And Indonesia was also one of the first countries I visited. And I would say Bali specifically holds a really dear place in my heart.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, 2 extra beautiful questions that I like to ask people. The first one being, what have you learned about love?
Oh my goodness.
In this day and age.
In this day and age.
Whatever you want to answer, not in this day and age. I'm like, I like to throw it there because it seems like we're now living in a pretty tricky world in terms of love.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Yeah. Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most profound one so far for me now. And that's also, as I said, like what happened. Love.
Love. I always think of Lauryn Hill. Her only album, right? The Miseducation. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah.
Of course you do. Those little skits in between the songs and somebody is writing L-O-V. I remember listening to it as a young kid, like, oh my God, love, love, love. And then Lauryn Hill never gave us another album.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. It's a really, love is a really complicated matter in my life right now, I would say.
Okay. No, not like what's happening, like in general. What you think about love.
Yeah, but also in terms of, therefore, what I learned about it. I would say as being aware of your layered identity and as
layered identity. I love that. Being aware of your... Oh, where's my notepad?
Sorry?
Where's my notepad? Being aware of your layered identity. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, it was just the beginning of a sentence. Actually.
Oh yeah, please go right ahead. No, I was struck. I was like, oh my god, that was my aha moment. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
but I would say that is also maybe the answer because me being aware of my layered identity means that like to love somebody else, you are mindful of a lot of different aspects of that person. And I would say that, you know, for example, thinking of friends, you know, you love,
Yeah.
I have really, you know, people around me that are complete opposites in a lot of ways, you know.
Okay.
So it's like it's a whole mix,
Okay.
and everybody will connect to some bits of me, right? But to love a person must be safe, right?
Yeah.
And it must be must feel good, and it, like to me it often feels like home. It feels peaceful. It feels calm.
Love that.
Yeah, like being held, and then for that to happen, another person therefore also must be aware indeed of their own layered identity, right? And of yours.
Yeah. Oh, and of you. Yeah. True.
So I think, yeah, and you don't have to be the same, right? But like to be respectful and to be caring. Yeah.
Hey, come on, give it to me. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's just amazing. And then the other one, perhaps I should have ended with that one. The other one is what have you learned about sex? I should have started the other way around. Now I want to wrap it up and say, oh, that was so beautiful. We're just gonna close it here.
Sex.
Sex.
Interesting.
One of the most polarizing topics in the world that just sends people into frenzies. Whether it's the church or it's the state or it's the society.
Yeah, interesting that you say that.
I've run out of tea to top you off.
Well.
Oh no.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh.
I have water here. No worries.
Alright. We'll make another cup of
when
tea.
I first learned about it, right? There's you bring up really interesting things. I think when part of my identity, you know, as a Dutch Surinamese, Indonesian Chinese woman, in growing up in, as I say, like this white neighborhood in Amsterdam, there was, from when I was pretty young already, some rivalry between the girls and me, in a way, because of the attention of the boys that we would get. And I, for a lot of boys, wasn't at all attractive, because I was a bit, how to say, alien to them, like, as they were like, you know, white bubble, white boys. I was just too other for them. But then at the same time, there was something about me in that space. I was a really social and open being, and therefore I had many friends. I got lots of attention, and then also from boys at some moment, more than my white friends, girls had at that time. So even though I didn't understand why they were sometimes being, bitchy to say to me, only later I found out, actually, from their parents or my mom noticing or whatever, that part of it was to do with that. That I got some sort of extra attention for being this exotic being.
I didn't know what to say.
Yeah, because they would exoticize me for sure. And I've experienced that from black men, from white men, from whatever type of man. So I think that was one of my first moments that I understood. So something about sex, I would say.
What?
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect sense. And then last but not least, I call it a head scratch question, although I doubt it's gonna make your head scratch. 2 things. You can only choose one. One must go. Amsterdam or Rotterdam? Choose one.
I would say Amsterdam because I know it better. And it's
home.
It's home. But I don't know Rotterdam well enough. But what I've seen from it, going there, I'm really, really, really curious about it. So, yeah.
And just for context, for viewers and listeners, Amsterdam and Rotterdam are like worlds apart to me. Or even when I read in the newspapers, it seems like, different vibes.
Really different vibes. And as I say, I really do not know it well enough.
Me neither.
And I've actually, going to Rotterdam last couple of years, I did think about maybe moving there. Because, in a way, Rotterdam to me gives sort of a London type of vibe. Like a more of a world city. And I feel there's also a lot of creativity happening there. In some ways, more than in Amsterdam with the overload that we have here or so. That there's more freedom still there.
Nice. Okay.
So, it's it's a painful decision to make it because I'm really, really curious about it.
I'm glad it's making you scratch your head after all. I didn't think it would. Well, Gina, how do I say thank you?
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Hope to have more conversations in the future. Hopefully about more things we would have learned about this life thing. More conversations and more therapy, people. More therapy.
Yeah, and therapy doesn't always have to be in a traditional way, I would say.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, sometimes people find other ways to than going to see a psychiatrist or whatever. I mean, I'm glad you bring that up. For me, I find therapy going to Oskam, the museum in the southeast. I just love it. It just, I love seeing all the artwork there. And it's free therapy. Well, Gina, hope to see you soon. And everybody else, please do check out Ga. Oh my gosh, the title just went from my head. Terug en Haal Het.
Ga Terug en Haal Het.
That's it.
Yeah, it's streaming right now on NPR Stat. It should be on your screen, or check it on the description box and have an idea of how Gina grew up and the experience that she and her family had with a little bit of activism in the Netherlands, and obviously for all the other beautiful stories that was there. I was so happy to see you in it, and I couldn't have been more blessed. I'm so thankful that you and your family took some time to share bits of your life with us, and even here today.
Yeah, we're grateful.
Nice.
Yeah.
So people, please check it out on MPO Start, and of course, more SJ. Check out my YouTube page. Follow me on.
Check it.
Thank you. Follow me on social media as well, and you can watch previous episodes as well, guys. As we close off, Abantu. See you next time.